Welcome to Got Invention Radio. I'm your host, Brian Freed, and tonight our guest is John Margaritis. He is the president and founder of the Ledgemore Group in Connecticut, and he is also an author of a book called Unlock Your Inner Entrepreneur, which I love. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you. Good to be here, Brian.
So, John, you're a pretty interesting guy. Maybe you can spend a few moments and share with our listeners what you do and what you've done and what you're up to.
Well, hello, everybody. I've been a corporate executive. I've been a serial entrepreneur, and now I'm a consultant to entrepreneurs and large companies that want to implement entrepreneurial best practices. So it all started with me after college when I found myself being drawn to developing new businesses. One of my first employers was Pepsi-Cola, and I was part of a team of five folks who started Ice Mountain, which was PepsiCo's first bottled water division. And it was a lot of fun. I have to say, I learned an awful lot. And that was kind of like the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. After that, I helped Oscar Myers start and expand Lunchables. Some of you may have seen Lunchables. They're little boxes with crackers, cheese, and ham. And the whole concept came out of an ideation session that we had right here in Westport, Connecticut. Later, I was with Sara Lee Corporation, which is known for its foods, its pies, and what have you. But back then, it was the largest apparel and accessory company of the world. Back then, meaning in the 90s. So it had companies like Coach, the handbag company, Playtex, Bally, Champion, Hanes, and many other brands. So I was part of a team that we started Wonder Bra. Some of you, especially the female listeners, may have tried the product. It works very well, and guys love it. Was also involved with Champion, the fleece company, expanded in Europe. And then a few years later, I teamed up with a designer who was fairly new. Not too many people knew of him. His name was Tommy Hilfiger. And I was part of the operations team, and we expanded the business into a multi-billion-dollar company.
That's fantastic.
So that's how the path started. And later I started the Ledgemore Group, which was initially a launching pad for my own startups and also a consulting practice to support other entrepreneurs.
Well, that's very interesting, John. You're and you actually, when I was listening to you talk about where you've been and what you've done, you went from Lunchables to Wonder Bra. I thought you were going to say Wonder Bread.
Well, maybe you can eat both.
Oh boy, the edible Wonder Bra. So really, John, from your experience and the knowledge that you have from bringing companies out there, starting off and expanding them and taking them to next levels in the investor world, really, our inventors that are out there, when we come up with an idea, we always say to look at it as a business and really to pay attention and do the research, product development, and take that concept and act as if it is a new business that you're starting up. So really, just to kind of dive into what we're going to discuss tonight, what does it really take to start a company, to come up with an idea, and to really get that company going?
Well, many investors end up becoming entrepreneurs so that they can bring their inventions to market. And I've been involved with maybe 60 startups right now, and they all follow 5 pretty simple steps. The first step is motivation. So the entrepreneur, inventor, if you may, has to be motivated to make it happen. The second step is ideation. You have to have an idea that you can bring to market. The third is formation. You have to form a business plan that makes sense, that will take your product to market and also maybe attract investors. The fourth is socialization, which is to socialize your idea with other people and get them excited, inspire other people so that they can join you and form a team. and teams are really important to building a business as opposed to individuals. And then the fifth step is manifestation, which means that you got to do it. You have to stop talking, you got to stop dreaming, but you got to do it now. So it's a physical activity, which includes your body, and that could be tough for people who've been taught to be thinkers all their life and have made a lot of money thinking and developing plans for others.
So do you think that one person can do it all?
One person can be the inspiration. One person can have the idea. One person can establish the values and the path for the company. But you really need to have a team to be successful. Teams always outperform individuals. And I'll tell you a very quick anecdote. Years ago, again, when I was with Sara Lee Corporation, they sent me to the Creative Leadership Center down in North Carolina. And the first exercise we had to do was to take a little test. We read this paragraph where each one of us was on a plane, and the plane had crashed in the desert, and we were left with 10 items in the wreckage. We were the only survivors. I was the only survivor. So I had to pick 10 of those items to find the nearest town, which was, let's say, 20 miles away. Mm-hmm. And as an individual, I had to select those items. Well, 9 out of 10 who took this exercise never survived. Mm-hmm. Then we took that same exercise, but as a group of people, and we had to make decisions as a team. This time the plane crashed in the North Pole, and we had to find the nearest village. And 9 out of 10 teams survive, which proves how important teams are to making decisions and running a business.
So, John, when we're looking at inventors coming up with this idea, now, we don't have all these partners, and we're not thinking about all these different people unless, right away the thought is, oh, I need to find a partner and get this idea out there. Most of the time, when an inventor has an idea, they're not sure what to do next. So what do you think it is that they should do next?
Well, you have a choice. You can take a path, which is to start your own business. And if you take that path, you probably do need to get some help and find a team. Another path might be that you license your idea, your invention, so you don't have to do much other than find the right licensee and license your idea and just collect paychecks in the future. Of course, you're going to have to possibly trademark, patent the idea, and what have you. Another path might be to just sell the invention. So depending on your path, but if you decide to start a business, then your chances of success increase dramatically if you form a partnership with others who have complementary skill set to yours.
So when somebody has an idea, you can look at the patent attorney or the patent agent as a partner. You can look at the person who's making your prototype or 3D drawing, or getting you a quote for manufacturing and possibly making websites, logos. All these people are considered partners. Is that right?
Well, it would be nice to have them all have a stake in it, but sometimes an entrepreneur just can't open it up to anyone. So it's important to have a core team, like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 other individuals who have complementary skill sets who can help you out. Then having functional experts who could be also partners and get paid in equity as opposed to a check would be great. Unfortunately, not too many functional experts are willing to do that. Lawyers want to get paid in cash. Designers want to get paid in cash, and so on. So it depends. It depends on the circumstances.
Sure. But let's say you have these people that do what they need to do to help you with bringing your idea out there to fruition or to start, really, to launch. These people you can hire almost as partners. They don't necessarily have to take equity. You can pay them out of pocket. Sometimes people will work on different types of situations or arrangements, but for the most part, if you are the person that comes up with the idea, do you see a lot of people that you're working with or that come across your path that can do the coordination of each of the steps, whether it's an invention or a business, working through, even if they do find the right partners, almost being like that coordinator and almost like the conductor of all the components of bringing the product to when it comes out there?
Absolutely. Entrepreneurs have to lead the process. It's all about leadership. And you rely on your team if you have one, or you rely on other experts who you find as you go along. Initially, you start alone, and initially it can be lonely. But as a leader, your job is to find the resources, find people, and inspire them. Inspiring people is really important. If you have a great idea, you got to communicate it in a passionate way and get others on board and make them as excited as you are to make those ideas manifest. So you need to lead that process and, as you said, coordinate the activities. That's absolutely part of what makes entrepreneurs successful.
So I spoke to you and Kelly before the show from your office, and both of you were talking about you can see right away, or you can hear or sense right away, that when somebody comes up with an idea and they're working on it, whether it's a business or invention, how passionate are they and how motivated are they? And you both said that those are really strong points, and that is one of your steps of what you talk about in your book.
Well, the first step is motivation, and that's probably one of the most important steps, because I'd much rather have a few motivated entrepreneurs with a mediocre idea than entrepreneurs who are not motivated with a superb idea. It's the motivation that will make the idea manifest and make the company succeed. Now let's talk a little bit about motivation. What's motivation? How do you get motivation? There's a big difference between employees and entrepreneurs. You may have heard of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow was a psychologist who said, we all have our basic needs, which are biological and physiological. We just need to earn a living, to buy food, and have a home. Then the second level of needs are safety needs. The third is being loved and belong somewhere. The next is esteem, finding our self-esteem. And finally, at the top of the pyramid, we self-actualize. So usually employees who start a job, why do they get the job? They get it because they want a paycheck. So they start at the bottom of the pyramid, and then they satisfy their safety needs. They may find some belongingness. They may identify with a company at some point. Very few may reach the point where they satisfy their esteem needs, and very, very few may reach the top of the pyramid where they self-actualize. They really find a purpose and they make it their life's mission to pursue that. Now, when we look at entrepreneurs, and that's what Kelly and I were talking about earlier, most entrepreneurs start at the top of the pyramid. They are passionate about a concept, an idea, a product, a service, and they want to manifest it. They kind of make that idea, that passion, what drives them in life, their purpose. So they start at the top of the pyramid. They may be penniless. They may borrow money. They may go live in some friend's basement. They may do whatever it takes to start the business. They are not thinking of their basic needs or safety needs. They're thinking about how to self-actualize. Eventually, as they succeed and the business gets established, they create wealth, and they end up satisfying all the needs in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But there's a big difference between the employee mentality and the entrepreneurial mentality. Employees start at the bottom of the pyramid, entrepreneurs start at the top. So Kelly and I always try to find those entrepreneurs who are passionate, who want to self-actualize with their ideas, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen.
So it sounds like the people at the bottom have one way to go, which is up. And I'm wondering if the entrepreneurs all the way on top